You've talked about the industry, and one thing I read that you've said in previous interviews is that people were surprised that you also produced your own music. And so how did that come across when you started on Long Way Home, when you started to get the album done?
Well, I moved from just me producing on my own in a bedroom to a professional studio, and so I didn't know what any of the equipment did. So I was at Excel Studios, and the in-house producer, which is Roddy McDonald, he helped me in a very technical sense produce this album. So he worked as like a creative facilitator for my ideas. So his role was very, very technical, but so key in this whole process. But I plan to work this summer with an engineer and basically be able to, for the next album, do it without any help with an engineer or another producer. But all the ideas are mine. It's just the way that I've got there has maybe been like, I don't know how to sidechain this. Like, can I have some help? Because I've not had the time. So.
But because you said in the beginning that you'd like to in the future write for other people as well. So is this part of that development of your own creativity?
Yeah, definitely. Now I've realised that this is what I want to do. I'm applying the work ethic that I had for my studies now to music, and I'm not a quitter. Like I love being challenged, and so I want to write for other people, which I feel like I can do now. But I also want to produce in the future. But I don't feel like I'm good enough. Okay. Yeah, because I don't understand all the equipment on my own yet. So yeah, hopefully in a few years.
You say you like to be challenged. What's the biggest challenge on Long Way Home?
I wanted to make a disco track, so I made a disco track. I think my writing has been pretty consistent. However, my production, I decided to go down so many different routes. Like I did, like there's like some R&B songs, and then there's the singles of pop songs, which are really, pop songs are hard to make. Like that's harder to understand than a disco track. But yeah, Operator was so much fun, and I got Otto Williams in, who is an amazing bass player. He played for like Shaka Khan and loads of cool things, to write the bass part for it, because my bass part was so shit compared to what he came up with, because obviously he's from that era, so it was so natural. So yeah, that was really cool.
What started that song off? Where did it originate? I
was like, sometimes in the studio I get really bored and I just start listening to music on YouTube, and you know when you get into like the deeper realms of like randomness and unknown songs, and then me and Roddy were just like having a bit of a disco like session, just like taking a break and listening to disco tracks, and then I found this song and I really liked the start of it, and I was like, play it again, and then I sampled it and then built a song over the top of the sample, which I looped, because I'd never like used a sample or thought that I'd wanted to before until I heard that song.
Okay.
So yeah.
And lyrically?
Lyrically, well, in my head, because I didn't really understand, like, I didn't even listen to the whole of the song. Like I literally just listened to the start of it and then sampled it and turned it into what I thought. Okay. So I kind of used the concept of, you know, in the past, when in order to speak to someone you'd have to ring up this thing and be like, can you put me through to so-and-so? And the concept of being in a long distance relationship and not being able to get through to that person. So the only person you're speaking to is the middleman, the operator. Right. And it's this kind of metaphor for like falling in love with the operator, because you can never get through to the person that you want to get through to, through quite a fun disco way. So. Okay. Yeah.
And the title Long Way Home, when did that come up? Is this part of that whole thing about long distance relationships?
Yeah, I only really came up with the title like after it was mastered, like after I had the whole thing together. It means a few things, like it means the distance between Liverpool and London, and I moved, and the pressure that I had on our relationship. But also I say when you're walking home from school with your best friend and you walk the longest ways before you have to say goodbye, because you want to like spend as much time as you can with them. It's that concept of extending the long way home in a relationship before you inevitably have to end it. And there was this kind of this metaphor throughout the whole album of extending something that's going to end, that is inevitably going to end. So yeah. Finally,
then, you've said that choosing a career in music was frowned upon in a way because it wasn't a sensible choice.
Yeah.
How do your parents think about what you're doing now?
They like trust you to like completely contradict everything that we say, because in a way, like the attitude that they had helped me in so many ways, because once I finished my A-levels and I was about to go to university to study geography, which I'm obsessed with and I still want to do, and I said no, and then I made sure that all the decisions I made to do with music were completely like what I want, and that it wasn't to do with money, and because it wasn't like this is what I've wanted to do my whole life. It wasn't like I needed this, you know, I need to make money, I need to be able to pay my rent or whatever. It was like, I'm doing this because I'm fortunate that I have something to fall back on. I've worked hard on my A-levels, I can go to uni. Sure. And so I made really rational decisions, and I went with the label that I felt listened to me the most but didn't give me the most money, and the management that took a lot more time, and they weren't name dropping, and these decisions were made because I wasn't desperate. And it's worked in my favour, because I could see things from an objective point of view. I wasn't blinded by this kind of this need to succeed. It was more, I love doing music, and so I want to be with people that will let me just be myself. So
what have you discovered about yourself then in the past year or 2 years, since kind of leaving that academic background on the side and focusing on music fully?
I think it's scary because I kind of hid underneath my work. Like I didn't really know who I was as a person, because I worked all the time. And now it's like looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, this is you, and you've got to deal with you, and you've got to understand, you know, who you are as a person, and that's scary. And like, I don't know, it's like when they say like people in your 20s like discover who they are, it's like that in like a year, just like, you know, where am I going to go with this, and like who am I, and like all these decisions, like, you know, I make shit decisions and I make good decisions, and it's quite scary. And also you have the pressure of being watched at the same time, because unlike all my friends, like there is an eye on me from management and label and from press, and I can't get fucked or sleep with the wrong people like my friends can do, because it's different. So yeah, so it's weird.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, I forgot it was being filmed. Shit.
No, that's good.